All right. All right. Might as well get started. First off, just want to say thank you for everyone who joined us this evening, taking the time out of your day to be with us and hear what we have to say. We really appreciate it. I know Zach, Hend, and I are really excited about the opportunity to share some of the stuff that we've learned throughout the years. I think most of you guys are high schoolers. I mean, we can't really see your faces, but I think most of you guys are high schoolers, and we wish we had some of the things that we're about to share with you when we were at your age. Also, before I get started, I wanted to just let you guys know, and especially on today, a day like the election day, like if you take anything from here, like I want you guys to know that no matter what's going on at home, what's going on in the world, what's going on in the country, um, whatever you set your mind to and whatever you set your mind to in terms of goals, you can definitely accomplish them. Hen, Zach, and I all come from different backgrounds, and we've all been able to be on the path that we want to be on. And so we look forward to sharing that with you. So to get started, I'll tell you just a little bit about myself. I'm Ryan Akoto. I was born in Canada originally. I moved here in 2006. So I've been here in Colorado most of my life. My family's from Ghana, which is a small country in West Africa. It's pretty it's pretty interesting to have a family back in Africa and see the different perspectives they have over there. Also, I'm a big NBA basketball fan. I love the Toronto Raptors; are my favorite team. I went to Thornton High School, which is of course in Thornton. I graduated 2015, and also I right there I have a picture of my favorite album. I think it's Graduation by Kanye West before he went crazy. So that's an important point there. So moving on to the next slide, I just wanted to share with you guys what my thinking was as I left high school and I was entering college. So like I was really confused about like what path I should go on, where my interests really lied, and what I wanted to do with my career. And so um, I try to follow these two steps. First, to keep an open mind. So being open to taking in different information from different people, this helped me to be able to figure out, okay, I like this, so let me go with that. And also just try it. Um, Whenever an opportunity comes, don't feel like, oh, you're not worthy or maybe you should wait until later to take an opportunity. Just do it. See what happens. The worst thing is it doesn't work out for you, and then you could try something else. So that's something that really big that helped me as I was entering college. And the main purpose of this is what I've highlighted in blue. Like you want to focus on what interests you. Obviously, you want to be able to take care of your family and have money and things like that, but you want to also enjoy your life. So in this process, try to find something that interests you. And if you do that, you'll end up where you want to be. So personally, what I did to try and figure out what I wanted to do while I was in college and for a career, like I talked to professors a lot. That was a really big thing that both Zach and Hend will highlight as well. Also, I kept looking for new opportunities. I never settled thinking, okay, like I found a good spot here. This is good for now. I kept on thinking like, what can I learn now, or what can I explore now? Like, don't limit what you can do. And then next, keep that ultimate goal in mind. So if you're able to figure out what interests you, um, keep that ultimate goal in mind. Sometimes there'll be opportunities that aren't exactly what you want to do, but they'll help you get to where you want to go. And I have an example of that, which I'll share with you guys later. So moving on to the next slide. Um, in terms of being able to find opportunities, and this is applicable whether you're in high school, college, or whatever stage you are at in your life. So being able to network, so reaching out to different or communicating with different people, and then taking your own initiative and reaching out. if you do that, the opportunities will come. And for me, the first real example for me with this in the early part of my college career was an experience I had with Project Cure. So Project Cure is a nonprofit organization that donates medical devices to countries around the world that need them for help. A lot of developing countries and third world countries like Ghana, where my parents are from. So I knew I was interested in biomechanical engineering, and that's why I joined the biomechanical program at Anschutz. But I didn't exactly know where I wanted to go, so I thought, hey, let me just try and volunteer for this organization, and I'll get exposure to medical devices and engineering, the things that I like. So I did that for about 3 months, and it was a really good experience. Got a lot of exposure to good things. Then a few years later, I ended up getting an internship at 3D Systems. Actually, all three of us got an internship at 3D Systems. There, we created 3D models of, we worked on, me personally, on 3D models of people's cranial anatomies. So we would get scans of people's skeletal features, and then we would uh, change them or manipulate them in order to get them ready for surgeons to plan their surgeries on them. So I did that for about 10 months, and that was my first real exposure to industry. And again, in order to get that, that was like reaching out to people, being aware of opportunities that are available, and taking action, emailing people. And I was lucky enough to get an interview, and they decided to take me on. Also, another really uh, thing that I liked that I did was working with UC Health. There, I was helping to create improved prosthetics for people who have, for lower limb amputees. So this was by the time I really started knowing that I liked biomechanics. I took and this one was also unpaid, um, but I really was interested in it, and so I took that opportunity to reach out to those doctors and professors and see if I can get involved. Eventually, after pestering them and bothering them for a long time, they finally let me help them. And I think it was really with that attitude that helped me to be able to benefit and have a exciting role within UC Health. And all these things led to where I am right now. So moving on to the next slide. Um, Now I work at a company, Medtronic. Maybe you've heard of it. It's one of the biggest medical device companies in the world. And I just started 2 months ago, so I'm extremely new. What was really awesome about this is that in order to get this job, I met a person, one of the directors of marketing, and we really clicked off. We really clicked. We had a great conversation. And it turns out that that Project Cure internship that I had done for free, not getting paid at all, he participates in that all the time and was a big participant in that. And so it really clicked off. So I think that's another huge lesson. Just because you don't see the benefit of whatever you're pursuing at the time doesn't mean it's not going to pay off later. So always keep that in mind with whatever you're pursuing academically or in any other avenue of your life. So right now, I'm a quality engineer. Essentially, I like to think of myself as a detective. So Medtronic produces medical devices that, of course, different patients and doctors use around the world. And so if a doctor has a complaint, we investigate why they're complaining about a certain product. We also do investigations directly on medical devices to see how we can improve them, any ways to make them safer for people. And so that all boils down to making sure we ensure the safety of our medical devices. To do that, we are communicating with the FDA, with clinicians on a daily basis. Of course, the FDA, I'm sure you guys know, is responsible for ensuring the safety of medical devices, in addition to several other things. So they're a big national organization that is in control of taking care of all that. Sometimes it can be intimidating, but like rising up to the challenge and realizing that you can do it, that's been a really great experience that I've had at Medtronic. So again, like I mentioned earlier, we investigate complaints, and if there's a broken device, for example, that a doctor has, we investigate it. One of the biggest devices that we work on is it's called the O-arm. It's used in neurosurgery, and we get a lot of complaints with that. And so I help to determine what's wrong with it. And then from that, we can see how we can improve devices. And then that helps to just make better devices for people to use and create a safer environment for everybody. So I think that's my last slide. I'll hand it over to Hend now. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. So hi, everyone. I am Hend. A little bit about me is that I was born and raised in Colorado. I went to Hend Elzarad High School, and that's where I graduated really early. I graduated as a junior and went straight to college. My family's from, I'm Palestinian, and then my family migrated to Egypt. Here is my cat. He's the love of my life. So his name is Bispis, which is cat in Arabic, which is kind of funny. And I love yoga. That is something that I love doing. So that's just a little bit about me. So kind of going back, I'm going to kind of reiterate some of the things that Ryan said, because I kind of did some of his steps as well. And I can't stress how important networking is. And so I'll get into that. But when I graduated high school early, I went to college straight away and I didn't know what I really wanted to do. And so keeping that open mind is something that I wish I had back then. So I went into straight on just what I knew best, which was chemistry. And so I sought out a chemistry degree, and then my sophomore year, so my second year of college, I hated it. And so I was like, this isn't for me. And so if I had an open mind freshman year, I would have been in the BioE department way earlier, but it's okay. It's not too late. So I became a BioE major my third year of college. And so that's kind of where I got introduced to medical devices and how it impacts people, and kind of how great the program is. So in 2018 to 2019, that's when I switched to the Anschutz campus, because it's a dual program. So it's half at the downtown campus and half on a medical campus. And so when I came on the medical campus, that's where I was introduced to everyone. And that is where I networked so much. And I can't stress how important that is. So I joined something called Colorado Biosciences, and that is where a mentor, which he or she will be they'll be in some type of role at a biomedical engineering company, and that's where they'll mentor you into like helping with resumes or practicing for interviews. So my junior year of college, I really stressed hard on just practicing and preparing myself for my senior year, which is when I would start applying to jobs. So I highly recommend looking into Colorado Bioscience. If you're a senior or junior, just look into that program and seeing if that kind of interests you. This is where you'll get to go to biomedical engineering companies, tour them, get to network with people. And that's something that I really took advantage of, and it paid off. So then that goes into my senior year, which was my graduation year. And so that's where I did take more networking opportunities. Can't stress that enough. And that is where I went to career fairs, not just at my university, but I went to Boulder's career fairs, and I just looked everywhere for career fairs just so I can get my name out there and just so I can practice that communication, because it is really big to just make that first impression. Like, grades do matter, but not as much as your people skills. So leaving a good impression goes a long way. And so that's where I practiced a ton of those, and kind of just interviewed for companies. Even if I didn't think I would get them, I just did it for the practice. And so there's no harm in doing that. And kind of like Ryan saying, like, if you don't see an outcome, it's still good to just try it, or stuff like that. And so also that's where I made a LinkedIn, and that's another networking opportunity that you can get into. And yes, networking is key. So when I graduated, I had interviews lined up for jobs, but coronavirus kind of changed that a bit for me. So that's when interviews got canceled, limiting amount of new hires. So they started cutting down hiring new people. And so I really had to think what I wanted to do with the rest of my life because I couldn't find a job. I didn't know if I should go to grad school. And so I kind of struggled with that, and I'll go into how I decided between either going to grad school or getting a job. And so after patiently waiting, after 5 months of graduation, after graduation, I did get a job, and I'll explain that in my next slides. So when I realized that my job, or I couldn't find a job, I started to look at graduate schools. And this is why networking is so important, because the department offered me a great project to work on and something that I'd be really passionate about. So networking really goes a long way because people will try to help you as much as they can. And so that is where I got opportunities from the BioE department to work on my master's, but also maybe get an internship. And so that was really difficult because that was such a great opportunity. And so I was kind of weighing my pros and cons of each. And when you join Colorado Bioscience, your mentor will really help you out in deciding these things. And so when I realized that online school might not be for me, I don't know what I want to do my master's in, would this master's benefit me later on? That's when I started to realize that a job would be better for me. And so I applied everywhere and I kept applying. And that's when I got my final job, which is an associate clinical account specialist for Johnson and Johnson. And so what that entails is I work alongside pretty much heart surgeons. They're called electrophysiologists, and we create cardiac maps of your heart real time. So instead of cutting someone's heart open just to fix it, we stick a catheter up into the heart and create a 3D map of the heart to help doctors guide them through different types of arrhythmias. And so that is my job. And so the biggest takeaway that I really wanted to stress to you guys is networking is key. And the fact that you guys are here watching this or joining BEEP, you guys are one step ahead. And so really take advantage of all the opportunities possible. You'll never know where it can lead you. And that's just my behalf. And then I'll hand it over to Zach.
Sweet. Thank you, Hend. So hello, everybody. My name is Zach, and like Hend, I am also a Colorado native. I grew up in Aurora, Colorado. And so really where my education started was over at Community College of Aurora. I got my Associates of Science over there. And from there, I actually took a little bit of a break from school to kind of assess what I wanted to do after that. And I actually ran into my own health situation. And that is where I got to get a better understanding and a first-person experience of how medical devices were really impacting and changing the world and helping surgeons do better within their surgeries and helping patients recover faster. And so that's where I decided to pursue my education in bioengineering over at the University of Colorado, Denver. Another fun fact about me is I also have a pet bearded dragon. Hence, it's so funny that your animal's name is Bis and my animal's name is Jam. It's funny in 2 syllables. But I digress. So that's my animal down there. And again, reiterating what Hend and Ryan said, really taking advantage of all the opportunities that are present in front of you, because you just never know what you're going to get. An example of that is just even scholarships when you're applying. If there was one thing I wish I could have done more is just apply to more scholarships, especially my freshman and sophomore year. But by the time I was a junior and a senior, I really started pursuing those heavy, and instead of saying why, I really had to just start saying why not. And so I started applying to different scholarships and grants, and one of them that I got was through ARCS, which is going to be specific to the University of Colorado system, and that really helped me out financially throughout my senior year. So that's going to be it for the first slide. Moving into the next slide, I'll talk a little bit more about just kind of my career pathway. So initially, when I was a sophomore over at University of Colorado, Denver, I also had a lot of sales experience. I worked as a personal trainer. I worked as an assistant sales manager over at 24 Hour Fitness. And that eventually brought me to the opportunity with Peloton Interactive, where I worked as a sales specialist over at the Cherry Creek Mall. With that not necessarily being related to medical devices, I did have to part ways from that company to really focus on some of the opportunities that were present within the university system. And so like Hend and Ryan, really taking advantage of every opportunity possible, going on tours to these facilities and really maximizing the connections that you already have. I know being over here in Colorado, I knew a lot of people who were already in medical devices, and I had a good friend who was over at 3D Systems. And so I was able to use him as a referral, and that eventually landed me the biomedical engineering internship, which was over the summer of 2019. And with that job, it was really the step right after what Ryan was doing. So with these patient scans that are sent in, we'll get the patient anatomy with a person's mandible and maxilla. And what my job was to take those scans that Ryan had segmented, and we would go through and perform a digital surgery of a facial correction for these patients. And then from there, the surgeons were able to review these cases with the biomedical engineers. And from there, we were able to print out patient-specific guides for the mandible and the maxilla for after the surgery. And this led me to my current role, which is as a biomedical designer over at Mighty Oak Medical. It's a little bit different than what 3D Systems does, but it is along the same lines. So what we do is we help plan out pedicle screw trajectories for patients, which you'll see on the next slide. And we'll basically just help the surgeon plan out the surgery to help make it as efficient and as safe as possible for these patients who have severe back deformities, such as spina bifida or any form of lordosis or kyphosis within the back. So yeah, moving into the next slide, I also had to really make a big decision, just as Hend and Ryan did. It was a really, really stressful graduation period for all of us. There's a lot of things that we unfortunately got to miss out on, but I think it is a really big learning opportunity for the three of us to go through. And so I really had to decide if I wanted to go to graduate school or if I wanted to work. And me being the yes man that I am, I decided to pursue both at the same time. I had gotten accepted into Colorado School of Mines for their engineering technology management program. And that's a 1-year accelerated program. And I was really looking at maximizing more skills and opportunities for project management, international business strategy, and decision analysis, and to help further myself along in my career. I might not benefit from it immediately, but I hope in a decade from now, I'll start to see some of the fruits of my educational labor. And again, I do work as a biomedical designer as well. And some of the major skills that I think I've been able to really maximize is my use of SolidWorks CAD. So if any of you guys are interested in 3D modeling, SolidWorks is a great program for you to utilize if you have the availability to use that within your high school, and especially over at UC Denver and Anschutz Medical Campus. You'll always have opportunities to work on really unique projects. I've also had a lot of exposure to time management, being in a 15-credit master's program, as well as working 3 days a week. I really have to get my priorities straight, be able to say no to people when they want to go out and have a party or do other miscellaneous things. Really just focusing in on studying and maximizing what I can with my career now. And then ultimately networking. You never know who you're going to meet at some of these school events, or even just through, my current job. There's always opportunity to learn about someone's background, and you never know when your skills are going to line up with an opportunity that they're looking for. So again, just to reiterate what Hend and Ryan said, really just taking advantage of any form of programs that are going to help you just be that next step ahead of other students, which of course, you guys being enrolled within BEAP, you guys are already taking the proper steps to really be successful and really stand out in comparison to your other peers. And so with that, I think that'll pretty much wrap up what I have to say here. I'm not sure if we have an end slide, but I'll kind of just leave it here for everyone. And of course, we could take questions as well if any of you guys have questions for us.